Hello. Oh my gosh. What the heck is that? Well, anyway, um, yeah. You know what? I put makeup on it for I'm gonna cry. I'm going to keep talking about Britney, but I'm going to play her audio because it's not. It will take me forever to just read it. She, in less than 30 minutes, dropped a bomb. Savage, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud of her. And the reason I want to make this is so people see what real abuse looks like and it sounds like. Real grooming and real gaslighting and real manipulation. What happened to her is real. What happened to you, Evan, and Esme, and all of them? It's not. It's not. This is heartbreaking when she talks about how she had no privacy. People were watching her and get dressed and undressed. Uh, that's a form of, like there's so many wrong things with it, and from like a mental health worker point of view, I can see that some people are going to listen to the audio and they're going to say, well, she sounds crazy, she sounds manic, which she does has bipolar, so she is going to be manic, and that is okay. But I think what it sounds like to me, she's just pissed off, she's just angry, and that anger sometimes comes out as anxiety, and then blah, 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 and talking really, really fast, and it seems like the person is on something, and I already know people are going to make fun of her or the way she's talking. They're going to make fun of what she said, the part that she said that she couldn't have her nails done during COVID and her housekeepers did. There's a little things like that. They are going to just be like, oh yeah, well, she's complaining, little rich girl complaining. There's no money in the world. There's no money in the world that you can just freedom, obviously, right? So there's she does speak very fast in the last 15 minutes. So there's only like 5 or 6 minutes, 7 minutes of her speaking slowly. But you know what? She doesn't have to slow down. She doesn't have to slow down. If you're being abused for 13 years, this is real abuse. Now what happened to Evan? Now what happened to Esme? So it is related. It's related to Manson. It's related to Johnny. I wish Johnny would just come and do a testimony, just like this one, with nobody interrogating him for answers. Just him be like, "This is what happened, Your Honor." Blah 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 blah. So I know it's not the same, but I do compare it because it's the courage that it takes for her to do something like that. I really hope that Johnny Manson or anybody who is being abused by press and by the public is a form of abuse and emotional distress as well. So Manson, in the future, he can say that we were all like pissing on him and he got canceled. He can actually sue Evan Richard Wood for abuse. So abuse is a big, broad. It can just be like there's so many definitions for it. But what happened to this person, Britney? Doesn't matter if you like her or not. And if you don't like it, if you don't like her, you don't have to tell me. And you don't have to tell me why either, because I'm not here to just like really seek for anybody approval, because I simply don't care. So I'm just doing this for whoever cares, and I'm not going to, oh my God, feel so guilty because I'm not talking about Manson. I will talk about Manson because there's a new date from the people in New Hampshire on the East Coast that there is a warrant for his arrest. And so it is a big deal what's happening to him. And I'm not saying it's not, but a woman being abused for 13 years, when somebody said to me, you're only talking about men, women are a bunch of liars. No, I'm going to talk about women too. I'm going to talk about her because this is real abuse. This is not shit. It's just to the point of like somebody watching you undress and dress and undress night and morning, giving you drugs, giving you medicine, making you work like 5 days a week for 12 hours a day. You compare that to Esme Bianco testimony of having, she had to go through unpaid labor and human trafficking, because she was just making some toast for her boyfriend at the time, Manson. But she said that. She said that was unpaid labor. So all these things that the Britney talks about are true. They did happen to her, and they didn't happen to the other people that we know. So next time somebody says unpaid labor, or one of these witches said that they were emotional distress because they were forced to live in a place that was cold and dark, like this, more than ever, you can just go like, well, guess what? Listen to Britney Spears' testimony, and that's it. And you will shut them out. You will shut them out. They'll have nobody can listen to this and say it's not abuse, and then listen to Everett Wood and Esme Bianco for the Phoenix Act, complaining and whining and acting like brats because they were dressed in a way that their boyfriend liked them, and they were not her off, and they felt abused because the boyfriend liked the way they makeup looked on her, and they felt abused, and she felt human trafficked because he bought her a plane ticket. I would love to see these people's faces right now, like Esme and Evan and Ashley and all of them, while listening to Britney and listening to like what real abuse sounds like, what real grooming sounds like. You know how like Evan loves to talk about grooming, how she was groomed and manipulated into submission. That's what she said. Manipulated into submission. Well, no. This is manipulation into submission. Britney Spears got manipulated into submission. So it's like, just stop, So I'm gonna play it, and it is heartbreaking. And I'm gonna pause and make notes about medication and stuff like that I happen to know one thing or two about it. I wish that she would have slowed down a little bit, but I can understand it just fine. But just for the sake of people criticizing and saying that she's talking too fast and that she's acting manic or she may be on something, I get it. She's talking fast because she's pissed off. A lot of people, when they get depressed, they shut down. You see in movies like somebody getting depressed and just shutting down and eating a bucket of ice cream and being depressed. Some people don't. Some people like her, I'm the same way. We talk a lot and we get really angry. So there's a lot of ways that people can process what the trauma that happened to them. She doesn't have to be crying in court. And if she wants to talk really fast like that and sound angry, that's how she is dealing with, that's how she's processing things. You might not like it or not. You might say, well, she should have been more prepared. Guess what? She couldn't be more prepared because she didn't even have a lawyer. So she went with 4 pieces of paper in 25 minutes. I think they probably gave her like 40 or 45. And she got it down pretty fast she got it down. I mean, I don't think it's so tedious to listen to. I listen to stuff like this all the time. But I was in shock on a couple things. I mean, I always knew that this was true. I never even for a second thought that her dad was a good person. I always thought that she was a prisoner of this whole bullshit and everybody's living up to her and like just sucking her blood. I always believed her. But the thing is, like, there was a couple things that were striking, and I can't say, oh, I knew it because I didn't. Nobody knew. The medication stuff, the stuff about her having to be forced to be on birth control because they don't want her to have children. And wherever you live, you live. But here in America and most places, people cannot tell you what to do with your body and when to have children and when to not have them. Nobody can force you to be on birth control if you don't want to be on birth control. And that's the one thing that I was like, oh my God, that it really got me thinking, like, holy shit, like they put her on birth control so she wouldn't have babies with this boyfriend or the other boyfriend before. It don't matter with who. And talk about the trafficking again. Brittany does mention that she feels that when, again, we're going to talk about feelings are not facts, feelings just feelings. But in this case, I really do believe everything she's saying, that she feels like she was trafficked, like sexually trafficked. And I have to agree with that. Because when you go from place to place, getting undressed and dressed in front of a bunch of people because they don't trust you to be alone because you're supposed to be crazy, right? So they're right there when you're getting dressed and undressed. And they move you from one place to the other one, and they put you in a bus, and then you have to do a show here and then do a show there, and you're naked in the process. You know what that is called? It's called human trafficking, and it's called sexual trafficking. Trafficking doesn't just have to be somebody in the back of a truck in like Mexico or Canada or like right on the line of any of two countries. That is not the only way to traffic people. That is like very ignorant. If people think, oh, that's the way to traffic people. People can be trafficked in a very, very calm, slow, collected, and calm way. And also people can be trafficked, artists can be trafficked and abused all the time. This same shit happened to Michael Jackson. Now I'm not gonna go on if Michael Jackson was guilty or not guilty because it's irrelevant. I'm talking about this shit that they put him through to the point that the guy couldn't sleep, so they have to give him anesthesia. That stuff is only required in hospitals, in surgery rooms and hospitals. Only doctors can use that type of stuff. They call it the milk. I don't remember the technical name for it, but I remember it's called the milk in the lingo, okay, in the slang. And it's pretty much what it is. It's something that knocks you out for a few hours, and then the next day you can perform and you can act like a normal person. Otherwise you'd be like a walking zombie, because he had really, really bad chronic insomnia. And they kill the guy. And I'm not saying they kill him like, I kill you. I'm saying that the way they treat him and how they pressure him so much, and they were getting so much money out of him, and so many people were working on his payroll. And it's the same than Britney. And he ended up dying because of that. He ended up dying. Prince, something similar happened to Prince, because it wasn't a conservatorship like this, but he was injured, badly injured, his legs and his back too. And his management was like, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to, and he performed and he performed and he performed until he couldn't anymore. And then he got addicted to opiates, painkillers, because his back and his leg injury. Why Prince didn't have the right to say, I don't want to perform anymore. And we're talking about Prince, an adult, like way older than Britney, and way more, I'll say respected, but like in the, like a rock god. I mean, I don't like Prince music, but he's considered, he was big. He is big. He could not say no to his record company. He said no, there was going to be a big freaking thing, and a lot of people were going to be out of work. He kept performing. So Prince, Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, and now like something similar is happening to Marilyn Manson, to the point that I am really concerned that if he gets to the point of just feeling like he's totally trapped, because he cannot really go anywhere without people either taking pictures of him because he's wanted, they want him for his arrest like next month in July, or because fans are going to just throw. Like, I mean, like he really cannot do anything. Whatever you do when you're being accused of something so evil, like rape and what's more evil than that? I mean, in any type of assault, you can do two things: defend yourself or stay freaking quiet. And I will be doing the same thing he's doing right now. It's amazing that it took that Britney Spears did that yesterday. It sucks that it took so many years and 13 years. But she got it down 25 minutes of a testimony of 13 years what happened to her. And when I listened to that and I read the transcript, there was 3 words: manipulation, gaslighting, all that stuff. And I'm like, wait, who uses those words as well all the time? Evan Rachel Wood, Esme Bianco, Ashley Waters, Ashley Morgans, all of them. They were manipulated. They were manipulated into submission, remember? Oh, she loved to say that. That's the Evan Rachel Wood quote. I was manipulated into submission. And then you listen to something like what happened to Britney, and that is manipulated. That's manipulation, and that's gaslighting, and that's grooming. I have the theory that Britney has been sexual abuse, and this whole thing unraveled this way because this is something that has been happening for a long time. But I don't want to go on that more because I might get in trouble. But that's what I think. I have that theory, and I think her dad has been doing some weird shit behind her back for a long time. For a long time. I also believe that the whole thing that went down in 2007, 2008 was completely staged, and it was on purpose just to drive her crazy, which they did. And so there's much more. There's much more to this. But what I'm trying to say is like real abuse is what happened to Britney. It's what happened to women that I meet. I won't say every day, but once a month, I meet somebody that describes the same thing, minus all the money and the mansion and all the helicopters and all the stuff that Britney has or supposed to have. But abuse is abuse. And it can happen to you, can happen to Britney Spears. It's just crazy to me that so much power, recognition, and being the queen and all that cannot save you and cannot give you freedom. So yeah, Michael Jackson, same thing. I'm not saying that he's guilty or he's innocent. I'm saying that the way the public treat him and how they cancel him, he was probably the first person canceled ever. But I think about it, Michael Jackson was canceled because he settled and he paid money to the court and to these people. He was still canceled. You couldn't even say his name. And I'm talking back in like the 2000s, between 2006 and 2000, like 12 or something. And then he kind of cleaned his name, fill up his name, and then he was going to perform and do this big tour that it didn't happen because he passed away. He died. And why he died? Because he was over medicated. Just like Britney has been over medicated for 13 years. And I would hate if something happened to her or to anybody in that situation. I don't know who the hell her therapist was or is, and her doctors and the people there. Because I understand her dad is a freaking hillbilly. He's an ignorant pig. So I'm not surprised by what her dad thinks. But how can you have a therapist and a psychiatrist, a psychiatrist, a counselor, a social worker, all these people teaming up and just taking your rights away, your human rights? It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. Okay, you are a person, not a dog, you're not a horse, you're a person. You have the rights to speak if you can speak, or to listen, or to watch, or to touch things. You have the rights to get pregnant if you want to get pregnant, to get unpregnant if you want to get unpregnant, if you know what I mean. And nobody can actually stop you. People can judge you. They can say, oh gosh, she's too old to have a kid. She's too unstable to have a kid. Whatever. But you have the rights to do that. You have the rights to just take a vacation when you feel like it. You have the rights to work. I think that's like the main human right is to work. So when you've been stopped from working, like in Johnny's case, Manson case, Britney's case, you've been stopped because there's so many things, so many people around you taking advantage of you, manipulating you, so to the point that you can't work anymore. That is abuse. And please don't say to me, oh, they have a lot of money, who cares? Yeah, they care. Especially when it's art, when it's something that it comes from your heart, like with Britney and with Johnny. Being in movies is what he likes to do, is what he does best. So for him to be canceled from 2 big movies, it is a big deal. Even if the guy doesn't have to work on his life, please don't tell me stupid shit like that. Because I would just like, no, I'll have an answer. I have an answer for that. And the answer is don't be ignorant. Don't think because people have money, they're happy. Don't think because they make 20 movies and they're famous, they don't feel like making more. Manson is being canceled like right now, and he needs to make stuff. Manson needs to make art, paintings, music videos, music shows. Otherwise, something can happen to him because he said it before, and he's the type of person who he needs to be expressing himself. And right now, his right of doing that is being taken away, not necessarily by the court or by a lawyer, by a judge, but by the public. The perception that people have of Manson and Johnny is just horrible. So that's why I think this whole thing is completely related, even if it doesn't sound like it. It's like Britney Spears and Marilyn Manson, completely two different things. No, not really. Not really, because they come from the beast of Hollywood, and music industry is the music industry, and they come from the same beast, both of them. And in Johnny's case, Hollywood is even worse. I mean, I don't know, I think the music industry is worse than the movie industry. But when you cut in the rise of Johnny to be in the movie he wants to be on, I don't like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it sucks. I think it's boring as fuck. But it's his right to work on that movie that he was gonna work on. I'll do the Grindelwald movie, Crimes of Grindelwald. I mean, I'm a big fan of that, actually. Big Potterheads. Everybody in my house is into that. So yeah, I mean, I told my son the other day. I was like, well, no, Johnny Depp is not going to be in the next movie. He's like, no. And why? And I couldn't tell him why. I couldn't tell him why. I mean, eventually I'll tell him why, and I'll have to find the words for that, because it's easier just to say it like this, or talk with my girlfriends about it. Oh man, it sucks that Johnny has been cut off from Grindelwald role. But how can I tell? How can I explain to my son that the reason that his favorite actor is not going to be playing one of his favorite characters, because we like that shit here in this house, because his wife wrongly accused him of violence. I can't say that to him, but I will somehow eventually. Because also, I don't want him to think that I come out and say, "Well, you did this to me, and that you can lose your job," without even having proof that she did it. So eventually, I will talk to him about it, because I don't want my son to be a doormat of women, and I don't want my daughter to be abused by executives and just crazy people either. So it's like you got both things. So I usually talk about violence against men, but today I think that I kind of own it to her. And I don't have guilt, because I always believed this shit was true. That people like Paris Hilton, or whatever the fuck his name is, and all these bloggers and all these people on Instagram and on Twitter, they call this whole thing fake, and then she's just a poor little white rich girl, she has no problems. They're sweating right now, eating their butts, feeling probably a lot of guilt, because what she testified yesterday, her testimony is so heartbreaking. It's not just sad, it makes you so angry at the same time. It's like all these emotions. For people to say, well, she's rich. Okay. In what? So what's the point? And people say the same thing about Michael Jackson back in the day. Well, he can deal with the problems of, he's just rich. He has all this. He can deal with that. No. It's not like that. Obviously, he couldn't deal with the problems. That's why he ended up dying, because he couldn't. And stuff like that, just having like people manipulating the medication that you take, or what time you go to sleep, or what you dress at. And when she said that people were watching her dress up, I automatically thought every would, saying, "Oh, he forced me to dress this way," or to wear a short skirt and to wear heart-shaped glasses and all that crap that she said. And then I'm listening to Britney saying that she was actually being watched while she was getting dressed by old man and old. Like, I'm the only one. It's so disgusting. So yeah, that's real abuse, and that's real human trafficking, and that's real unpaid labor as well. Now what happened to the Manson women? No, that is not abuse, and it is so. I like that this is happening now. I mean, of course, I don't like that this is happening to Britney, but it's a good timing for this to be happening now, and for people to be talking about it now, so people see what real trauma and real abuse is. And maybe we can wish that next time somebody picks up a copy of People's Magazines with some fake bruise on the cover of the magazine, somebody can say, well, Britney got abused, this person didn't. So maybe we'll open some type of conversation about what real abuse is. Because I mean, we can go over and over in all my videos talking about the same thing, and how the whole thing has been distorted instead from being your boyfriend saying, hey, I got you this sweater, talking about Manson now, giving it to her so she can wear it, and saying, if you like to wear that, if you wear that around the house, it will make me happy. That's it. That is not abuse. That's your boyfriend give you a piece of lingerie for you to wear, and you wore it. And back in the day, that was called being romantic. Back in the day, that was normal. If a guy brought you flowers or, chocolate and stuff like that, that was considered okay. But now, because we're in this hush, 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 and the Me Too movement and all that, you cannot even give your girlfriend a piece of land. What was it that he gave her? Manson gave to this Jane Doe person a kimono, the famous kimono, and she was insulted by the fact that he wanted her to wear the kimono in the house. I mean, and that is abuse, really? No, abuse is what happened to Britney Spears. It's not what happened to you, Chloe Black. Now, I'm not even gonna say Jane Doe anymore, because her name is not Jane Doe. Her name is Chloe Black. She has first and last name, probably fake name, but don't matter. I'm not judging. I'm not gonna say that person was a Jane Doe anymore, because we know the name, we know her name, and everything just fits, and everything is copy and paste. So when you listen to this or read the transcript of what happened yesterday with Britney, and then you listen to the weird shit that comes out of Emma Roger Wood's mouth and Esme Bianco and all those people, it's like dying like day and night, and it's really upsetting. Really. I mean, I have my opinions on like, well, if this was the good way to do it, yes, she had no other way. Not everybody has what Evan Rachel Wood has, like, all these connections in Congress and all these lawyers. If you don't have any of that, you just go to court and you ask for a hearing. Any of you can do it. I can do it. They give you 45 minutes. She put it down in 23 minutes, which I think was great. There was some time extra. And that's it. So anybody can be heard. There's this freedom of, I won't say complaining, because I don't feel like she was complaining. Testifying. Everybody can testify. We have the right here to testify. I can go and request a hearing, and I can say that I just burned my hand because the coffee was too hot. And I can sue McDonald's because they sell me the coffee that it was too hot. That's America. That's what's up. That's what people do. And it's actually good in some cases. But if you think about it, anybody can sue anybody, and anybody can scream abuse, or I burn myself with a hot coffee, whatever. Anybody. It's really easy. So that's where the lines get all blurred and stupid, and just it's so hard to believe any of these famous people. I believe Britney 100%, and I believe Johnny, and I believe Manson, even if Manson hasn't talked yet, but I get it. I know why he's not talking. Duh. Will you be talking? If you were Manson, would you be out there tweeting? Only Donald Trump does that. And talking to people. Will you be doing that if you're in so much deep trouble? No. So I understand that he's quiet. But yeah, I wanted to do that. But right now, before I play that, because it's a 25-minute thing, I'm going to read the last thing that came out today morning about what's going to happen with Manson. This doesn't mean that he's going to be arrested. I know people are going to be like, oh, Manson's going to get arrested. This is just the New Hampshire police saying this. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. A lot of the times, most of the times, this stuff doesn't happen the way they say it happened. It will happen. It doesn't. And chances are he is going to try to do some type of conference on computer, on the phone, because some places the courthouse are still closed. Like here they are. That's what Britney had to do it over a computer. She wasn't there. And the same is going to happen with Manson if it's in LA. He's not going to have to go to court. He's going to have to either settle money, which just sucks. I'm talking about the woman that he spit on, or fight it, which, yeah. I hope he fights it, but at the same time, this whole thing seems so stressful. Like, not only you have to defend yourself from being, oh, I'm not a rapist, I'm not beating people up, I'm not drugging people, but I'm also not spitting on people's faces. Like, there's like so many like accusations that I don't want it to get to the point that because he doesn't want to deal with it, because it's very stressful, and triggering, because he's been through this shit before with Columbine, that he will settle with these people. I hope he doesn't. So this came out today, and it says agreement reached for Marilyn Manson to turn himself in arrest warrant. The police said. Every time they say, it's just that. Don't think police said, say, or said. Guilford, New Hampshire. An agreement has been reached for Marilyn Manson to turn himself in or an active arrest warrant out of Guilford, which is the freaking town this is happening at. The town police chief said, Anthony Bean something, he said in the agreement that Manson, whose legal name is Brian, well, okay, we know that, will turn himself in or on the warrant in LA, Los Angeles. See, that's going to be not going to happen because the court is still closed here. So I don't know where I don't know how they're going to do it. Or the Laconia District Court could be scheduled by mid-August, depending on when Manson turns himself in. Okay, or they're going to go mid-August and they're going to do like a computer either through Zoom or something like that for the case, which is still, it is assault. I mean, I don't think he did anything so crazy, but anyway, it is treated as assault, and it's a class A misdemeanor because it happened in New Hampshire. If this happened in California or some other state, it might have been different, but because it happened over there, it's a class A misdemeanor, so it is assault. So it's not civil. They call it simple assault, but it is assault. Yeah, it's just this whole thing is so stupid. I feel so bad. Okay, Manson is charged with simple assault and is accused of assaulting a biographer at a concert at Bank of New Hampshire Pavilions in 2019. Witnesses, there you go, witnesses. When she came up with this in May, she didn't say she had witnesses. She said she felt really bad after he spit on her camera, and then she'd run to her husband at home, and she cried herself to sleep. And the next day, she made it she filed a police report. She didn't say she had witnesses, and now she has witnesses. See, that's when you start thinking like, these people are so full of shit. Okay, witnesses. I don't know who they are. If it's the husband, then that should not really count. Okay, assault. Oh, okay, witnesses. Say Manson spit at the biographer camera several times. Okay, bullshit. You remember when we all made videos in here about this whole thing? She came up in May 22nd. I remember because it was my birthday. This lady that nobody knows about, something that happened in 2019. Her first statement was that he spit on her camera, and some of the spit got on her arm. That is not the same as saying he spit on my arm. He spit on your camera, and some of the spit got on your arm. I don't know how that can happen. Like, I guess if she was holding the camera and he spit on the camera and then some of it got on her arm, I can see that happening, but she has no proof of the arm thing. She does have a video on the camera lens once. And it's not several times. It's once. I mean, it's Manson spitting. I mean, he knows how to spit once. Okay. And how they got on her arm several times. Like, she's trying to actually get people to believe that he looked at her and spit on her over and over. Like, how? He was doing a show. He was singing, jumping up and down, singing to the crowd, doing his songs, and also spitting at her several times. I don't buy it. I can't believe it. I refuse to believe something stupid like this. Especially because a month ago, she said that he spit on her camera and on her arm. She did not use the word several times. Maybe she should have, but she didn't. So that's too bad, too sad for you, lady. You didn't use that word a month ago, so now I'm gonna believe you even less. These people lose credibility like this fast, in my eyes, when they do smack like this. Now she got witnesses. Before she said that she ran to her husband and cried and went to sleep. Now she has witnesses. How can she doesn't have a picture of the spit. It's impossible. I think the spit happened. We know, I saw a video. The spit happened. Not as several times. And if the spit happened on her arm, it was because she was holding the camera like this, and maybe the spit touched her arm. So then she should have filed something completely different. She should have filed a physical assault, but she didn't. She's so dumb and greedy that she filed the assault just to get a new camera and ask for $35,000 instead of fighting a physical assault and saying, "Hey, I was doing this job and Marilyn Manson spit on me." People probably will believe that back then in 2019 more than the way that she played it out. She played it out saying that he spit on her camera. Okay, I believe that. We watched the video. He did. He spit in a lot of people's cameras. I mean, whatever. Like I always say, she should have researched the person she was going to work for. It was not going to be Justin Timberlake. If she is like, well, my job tonight is to go to cover Marilyn Manson concert. There's things that happen in Marilyn Manson concerts that we know they're going to happen. I don't think he's spit on her several times. In 2019, she should have pushed. If she really wanted to get to him because he spit on her and made her feel so degraded and so bad by herself, then she should have been pushing it, but she didn't push it. So now she's like adding herself to the train of bullshit and witches. So of course we're not going to believe her. The timing is very strange, and the words that she used are strange. First it was like on my arm and on my camera, and now it's several times on me, like he was literally like this, grabbing her and spitting on her. No, so that makes it misdemeanor just because she said that it was on her. If it was just on the camera, it would be a different thing. Ugh, God, it's so frustrating. It really is. Okay, New Hampshire carries a possible jail sentence of less than 1 year and a fine up to $2,000. So we don't have to worry about the fine money because he has $2,000, right? Go to jail for about a year, or maybe like a few months, for something that there's no proof that you did. There's no proof. There's proof there was a camera that he spit on. There's what she's saying is that he spit on her several times, and there's no proof of that. So this is all about money. We know that. Anyway, the police officers say that Manson would not need to appear in New Hampshire for his arraignment. Yeah, of course. He could waive his appearance and enter a not guilty plea, which I hope that he does, to the court in accordance with the pandemic protocols, cancel the initial appearances, and schedule a case status hearing through the internet instead. So what he can do is he can say he can move the date pretty much, and then he can do the hearing from wherever he's at through the computer camera or whatever devices he might have. He doesn't have to go to New Hampshire, which is a good thing. But this is strange. I wonder what would happen if it was here, if it was in California, if the whole spitting thing would put you in jail for a year. Probably not. No, just we don't do stuff like that. It is like such a big deal. But anyway, so he can actually say he can plead non guilty, which is I really hope that he does. Yeah, of course he's gonna plead non guilty, but I hope that I'm not guilty and I'm not guilty. Not I'm not guilty and I'm giving you $35,000 to believe me that I'm not guilty. I hope he doesn't go on that. But if he does, I guess we have to respect his decision. But I hope he doesn't, because that makes him look guilty, and I don't think he is. He could waive his guilt. Okay. Officer said he believes the detention of the charges received on social media pushed Manson to address the warrant. No, not really, but okay. He rejected statements. Yeah, he's going to. He rejected a statement Manson's attorney made claiming that the victim filed a police report only after her attempt to get a financial payout from Manson. So first she tried to get a financial payout and it was rejected. And then after that she filed a report. So if you really are traumatized because you went to this concert and this guy's spitting on you and you're not a fan, because fans would not care, and you're like, oh my God, you're so traumatized, you quit your job, traumatized, go home, run, cry yourself to sleep. You go the next day to the police station, dude, and you file the report on his ass, period. But no, it says that she first entered a plea to ask for money. And when that money was, when that $35,000 was rejected, then she filed a police report for assault. And it's like, oh my God. It's all backwards. Completely backwards. Anyway, they're reaching out to Manson and his attorney and publicist make no comment. It's okay. Give it like another day. This just happened today, so I don't expect them to make no comments. Besides, his lawyer, this something King is his last name. He's pretty cool already. The one that said that about Ashley Morgan. He said, well, there's so many inconsistencies with her statement. We don't know where to begin. And he also, his attorney said that Ashley was with Manson for like a weekend, or 2 weekends. And then, she's talking about their relationship like it was a whole year. So there's so many things that are not true about any of this. So hopefully he says, I'm not guilty, and pays it $2,000, and that's it. And it's $2,000. That's like really not a lot of money, right? But what I think is priceless is your innocence. And you're innocent and your freedom is priceless. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, look like what's happening to Britney, and you're not free. So we can say, well, Manson has all this money, he can have the best lawyers. Yeah, but if the public thinks you are a pervert, if the public thinks that you are a rapist and an assaulter, they're going to go against you. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's like when people talk about jail, people going to prison for doing something horrible to children. And everybody knows those are the first guys that are going to get beat up. So there's no money and no status that can help you once you go to jail. That is like, there's nothing. He's not going to go to jail. He's not. But I just wish that these freaking people will stop. Just stop, and just knock it off, because it's really pissing me off how many inconsistencies and how she's talking about several times. And then first it was the arm, the camera, and then kind of it bounced to her arm. Maybe I believe that. I'm just going to see if this makes some type of sense. Where's my tablet? Excuse me. So let's say this is the camera, right? And let's say she was like this, right, with her camera, which she's supposed to be a professional. So she's not like selfie, the show album. She's holding the camera like this. And he's here doing his thing. And she's very close because she was supposed to be covering the show, which she didn't, very unprofessionally. She just left her job. That speaks really bad of her, right? So she's holding the camera. And so let's say she's holding the camera up. And I watched the video and there's a spit going on her lens. There is. He did. And then maybe he spit right here and the spit got on her arm. This is what I'm thinking happened. That's it. The rest is her freaking imagination, and not even her imagination, but just her freaking greediness in her pocket. And probably her husband going like, ooh, you got spit by Manson? Oh, we can do something out of this. I think that's all it's about. Because if she was really traumatized and she really wanted justice to be served, she wouldn't be waiting like 3 years to talk about this again. This happened in 2019. And the report was done in 2019. And if she wanted damages, because let's say the camera was damaged, the camera is not going to be damaged because some spit or some water or any liquid gets on the lens a little bit for like a few seconds because she wiped it. Remember, she said she wiped it. So the camera is not damaged. But let's say she wants to stretch it and say that she needs a new camera. She asked for $35,000. Is that what a camera? I mean, I'm not. Isn't it like photographers? You guys know anybody who can say that a professional camera for video and pictures, a professional camera, not this type of crap, a professional camera, how much it costs? It doesn't cost $35,000, right? $35,000 is a lot of money, and that's what she asked in 2019. Now, because Manson is on the news and on YouTube, not on YouTube, on the real news, everybody's talking bad about him, treating him like he's a criminal already, even if he has never been charged. Not for one thing. He doesn't even have a charge for like domestic violence in the past, like Amber. He doesn't have a charge for absolutely nothing. He doesn't have a drug charge. He doesn't have any type of violence-related charge on his life, period. It's crazy. I mean, like, you will think that things like that will go into consideration, that you have a good record. Yeah, you're kind of out there, you're a rock star, you do some stupid shit, but you don't have charges. You never done anything that will take you to the trouble to get charged for something. Not driving drunk. Well, he doesn't drive, probably because of that. But not a DUI, not a charge, nothing. I mean, nothing that I remember. If there's something, just let me know. Nothing that I remember. I mean, people complain about him all the time and whine and acting like little brats, but there's no charges on his record. I mean, his name is pretty clean. When you think about the type of artist that he is, and he likes to shock people, he's a rock star. His record is pretty clean. Seriously, it could be worse, and it's clean. So her asking for $35,000, I mean, you have to have something more on the bag than just he spit at me several times, and I have witnesses. I saw the video that TMZ put out there. Of course, TMZ has a video, and you can look it up. I'm not going to play it because it's gross. As much as I love Manson, it's like a second. It's like he's singing, and he goes, and then he keeps going. He moves. This is a guy who jumps up around so much that he hurts his freaking leg. Remember? He jumps up and down, singing or screaming or whatever, get into the audience. How can he be focusing on her so much to spit on her several times, as she said? How? I mean, just now look it up again and see that if the dates are different. No, they're not different. I don't want to watch your little thing, little lady. It's going to be Channel 9 reporting. An agreement has been reached for Marilyn Manson. See, the agreement has not been done, has been reached. That means they're trying to reach out to him and to his lawyer, and they're trying to make an agreement, but it has not. Nobody signed it yet. But yeah, what they want to do is they want to, they're assuming a warrant for his arrest for mid-July, depending on what he does from now to mid-July, no, mid-August. So from now to mid-August, he can do plenty. He can just say, I'm not guilty, and explain why, which, yeah, okay, he can do that. He can sue her, which I don't think he should. And he can wiggle and see what happens, and hopefully not end up in jail. Because in New Hampshire, you can go to jail for a year for spitting on somebody. Again, did he really spit on her? He's only spit on her camera, and that doesn't count as an assault if we want to go like very like thin and sharp on it. That's why I'm worried about what can happen to him on this level, because it's a she said, he said. He's not going to remember. They're going to use a TMZ video. He's going to say, well, yeah, I spit on people sometimes. And just like we've been saying on YouTube all over, right? They're gonna show the video, shows one spit, and then he keeps going. The dude is doing a show. I mean, how can she so important that Marilyn Manson is gonna stop, look at her in the eye, and spit at her 100 times? And she also said that he laughed, that he spit at her and then stopped laughing. I didn't see that. I saw the video and I saw the spit on the camera once, and I didn't. He kept going. It was really quick. So if she goes with this, he spit on me several times, and he doesn't have a good comeback to that, he could go to jail. If they settle some type of money situation and she retraces it and she says, well, he spit on my camera, then he's not gonna go to jail. But see, it's like on those, that it makes a lot of difference by saying, oh, well, this person spit on my phone when we were arguing and my phone was next to my face. And then I can say, well, he spit on my face. And you're gonna believe me, right? Especially if I'm a woman, and especially if I am jumping on the train of accusing Manson of stuff that everybody is on right now, you're gonna believe her. I hope people don't believe her. I don't believe her. I don't for a second, especially when I'm reading that first she asked for the money and then she filed the report. So if you're really traumatized and you're really scared of this bad big wolf that is going to come to your house and spit on you over and over, you file a report right away, would you? That's what you do. You don't just wait. Oh, I'm going to wait until I have the money, and if I don't get the money, then I'm going to file and say that he spit on me. It's not on the camera. So $35,000 is not enough. Now they want him in jail. That is just beyond. That's beyond. That's just. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm still kind of worried, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I wanted to talk about that because it just came out today, and I really feel bad for Britney, and it's really sad. In a way, I'm glad that she did it. I feel bad that it took her so many years to do this, but I'm really glad that she did it. And then people are going to get to see what real abuse is, and not just whiny, mad ex-girlfriends. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. He has time from now to mid-August to decide. He either goes and says that he's guilty and kind of like takes, I mean, that might not be a bad approach because that's going to make him look good or honest. Yeah, I don't know. Not his lawyer or his therapist. He does need one. He has a good lawyer. So let's hope that the lawyer goes like just, well, we're going to fight this because this woman is just greedy. She just wants your money. Or we're just going to settle. We're going to do a big Michael Jackson and we're going to give money to all these people. From the spitting, for the person that you spit on, to the person that you supposedly allegedly assaulted, and the other one that you allegedly sleep deprived, and the other woman that you starved to death, and then let's just give money around. That's what Michael Jackson did, and I don't think it's a good idea. I didn't think it was a good idea back then either. Yeah, so we have to wait and not pray. I'm not going to pray, but we have to wait and see what the police in New Hampshire says. So if you happen to live in New Hampshire, I don't. It's on the East Coast and I'm on the West. Go to buy your police, go to the police station and just ask and just be like, what I want to see it's really hard for me to believe things that I'm just reading on a little website. I like to see. That's what when the case with Johnny and Amber was happening in the UK, we had people posting the transcript from court straight to the internet. And that was super cool. Even if it was tedious to read, it took me hours and hours to read through it. But I believed it because it was straight from court. But this stuff is like, well, he said this, and then she said this, and then the police officer said this. The police officers aren't supposed to lie. They're not supposed to lie, but who knows? I don't know. If there's no repercussion, then why not lie? See, that's the thing. if there's no repercussion of the people who are abusing, accusing him of so many horrible things, why not lie? Let's keep lying if there's no repercussion for us. So then there has to be something there out there that I'm not a lawyer, that it says, well, something, there has to be some type of repercussion if you lie. If you lie about getting assaulted, sexually assaulted, that is a big one. But even if you lie about getting spit on, yeah, you could just like ruin somebody's life and then send them to jail for something that, to begin with, you said that he didn't spit on you. You said he spit on your camera and then it got on your arm. I'm just going to keep repeating that over and over again, and I'm probably going to change the title of this video to news about Manson spit. And I'm going to get some food. And I am going to play the Britney Spears testimony, not right this moment, but I am. And if people don't want to hear, that's okay. They don't have to. But I don't know. Go look it up. New Hampshire, Marilyn Manson wanted for arrest. I don't think it's going to happen. There's like a month and a half that he has to figure out what to say or what to do, or just pay these people off. What do you think? Do you think he should pay them off? I don't know. I mean, who wants to go to jail? You know, I mean, if he can pay her off and give the $35,000 that she's requesting. But see, the problem is, like, if he admits to that and he pays that lady off, then all these people that have been saying things about him, they are going to automatically be like, see, he did this. So of course he did this other thing. So that's kind of how evil the system, and sometimes even our brains work, association. It's like, well, he did this thing, so might as well he did this thing too. And that's a very bad way of thinking. It's very ignorant. But sadly, there's a lot of people that think like that here. The same with Johnny. The whole thing, well, would Johnny yell at her? Yeah, she yelled at her a few times. But so maybe he also threw the glass. It's like, no, it is just go from 1 to 100. Allegedly spitting on somebody's camera and assaulting somebody physically is two different things. She did not file for physical assault, which makes her kind of dumb, because really that's what she should have done. But I guess in 2019 it wasn't really trendy to file things